So it's been a while since I've made any type of review or talking about any mouse pad or mice in a couple of months now. Maybe it's been a year. I haven't really checked, if I'm being honest. And the last video that I made was talking about this specific mouse pad. Now, this is definitely the slowest mouse pad I'm pretty sure that's ever been released out of any mouse pad out there. Yet, it's kind of hard for me to say that when I haven't tried every single mouse pad, right? But this is 10 times slower than the Zowie GSR. Now, when it comes to any mouse pad, of course, the skates are obviously going to matter a lot, and it's going to determine whether it seems like super sticky or if it's at least movable a little bit. But it doesn't matter what skates I use, whether it's obsidian dots or jade dots or ceramic mouse feet or dots, or just the ones that come with the mouse, PTFE. It really doesn't matter. Even glass on this final mouse that I have, it definitely affects the glide, right? But not dramatically. You can feel the subtle difference. So like, for instance, if I'm using this one, which this is not my main mouse has always been the HSK Plus, I think that's what it is. But I've been using this one since it came out, and I always go back to this one, and it's the one that I aim the best with out of every mouse that I have. This one was a little bit too small for me. It was too low profile. It felt too boxy, and it wasn't long enough for me the way that I grip it. So I didn't really enjoy this one at all. But if you're like just a fingertip grip user, you may want to have like obsidian mouse feet that feels a little bit better on this mouse pad. But if you want the ultimate control, because this one barely moves with my finger. Obviously it can't be objective testing, but it's like I can't even move it. So all of these are basically the same. It doesn't move at all. It takes a lot of pressure and force to even move it just a little bit. Like, I'm trying my hardest to move it, but when you have your whole grip on it, even your fingertips, that's why I said if you're using a fingertip grip on this mouse pad, you're probably going to want to, you probably want faster skates, simply because it'd be easier to move the mouse side to side, up and down. Yet I find that I still go back to using the ceramic mouse feet or dots. Overall, this is definitely the slowest experience. These feet are going to be the slowest on this pad. And for some reason, it feels to me, the only thing that I do differently is I increase my sensitivity, and I enjoy the experience that I have when it comes to this mouse pad while using this mouse and these mouse skates. I've tried all these other ones, and like I said, these dots, and I have a whole bunch of other dots that I took off, and while I was testing, of course, I couldn't reuse them, so I had to throw them away because the stickiness of them just doesn't last if you keep taking them on and off and trying, if I keep trying them on all these different types of mice. What I love about these is they're just so durable that no matter how many times I take them off and put them back on, you can always have I got these little double-sided tape, they're very thin, so regardless if I reuse these, it's so easy to do because I just have to clean the sticky part out of it and then reuse them on another mouse if I want to. So I bought a whole bunch of these actually because they seem to last forever, and it's just more consistent to me than having to use obsidian mouse feet or any other kind of skates, and then eventually they wear down, and then you're kind of in mid-game and you feel that worn down when it comes to your mouse skates, and you can feel the difference depending on the mouse pad that you're using. So it really depends. I think it's kind of one of the reasons why people sort of use glass pads or ceramic pads, because you get that consistent glide. And when it comes to cloth, sometimes it's going to be slower, sometimes it's going to be faster, sometimes it's just going to get dirty, and even if you wash it, it's not going to go back to the original. There's a lot of variables when it comes to care of them or how easily they get, depending on if you eat at your desk or if you have greasy hands or food grease all over your hands and you don't clean them up a little bit. And this one definitely attracts a lot of dirt if you're messy like me and eat. But the good thing about this one is it's actually any kind of soap, and I've scrubbed it hard and I scrubbed it like gently with different types of material, and the glide has still been the same. But what I love is not only that the glide has been the same, no matter how dirty this gets, you can always make it look clean. So I've had a lot of like spots in the middle, but every time that I clean them, it goes away. So it's like, I think I washed this last week, and it's still, I mean, it doesn't look as white as it used to. And of course, like, my camera doesn't do it justice. It's not like fully white. It's kind of like a beige white or tannish, but I don't know. It doesn't look white like they show on the pictures that I look online. The other issue that I have is I don't even know if they're going to sell these again or not, because I have not seen these in stock at all ever since that I got it. And it's been a while since I've had this mouse pad, and I go between this one and the Zowie GSR. The reason I don't really main this one, even though I love how slow it is, if you're a mud pad lover, you'll probably love this pad if you can find it somewhere, or if you had it in the past already. Like, my hand eventually gets just tired, my wrist, because of how hard it is to move on this pad. It takes strength on your finger. If you're a fingertip grip, if you're using like your full like palm, it definitely feels a little bit better because you're using more force. But when it comes to like fingertip, I get more tired because I'm only using my fingers to move my mouse, and the mouse pad is obviously stopping me a lot. So whenever I'm tracking, it just gets very tiring doing it consistently, put in that little bit of effort. But you have to like put a lot of pressure in order to like move the mouse. But if you're palming it, which is the only time that I feel comfortable using this mouse, if I'm using like a bigger size mouse, it's because it's just easier for me to move my whole arm. And usually I just move my arm like this instead of moving my fingers when I palm a whole mouse. But since this is my main, I rarely do this because I'm using my fingers instead. I guess I could get used to like just tracking like this, since like I don't have any palm support on this mouse. But then I wouldn't play my best. I feel like I aim better when I use my fingers. I track better and then I flick better, which took me a while to get used to, like fingertip, like relaxed fingertip. And palm is obviously comfortable, but I always aim the worst when it comes to like palming any type of mouse, even like the Atlantis Mini. I don't like the hump on this one, but still, like, I can still palm it. And it's just easier to move, especially the curves on the side makes it easier to just flick, even if this mouse pad is super muddy and slow. But when it comes to fingertip, like I said, it takes a lot more effort, and you just get very tired if you're playing for 8 hours and you're just going in, whether it's Overwatch, Apex Legends, or Valorant. I would say especially Overwatch got me the most tired, because usually in games like Valorant and CSGO, it's just kind of like crosshair placement. And this would help with like the shakiness, if you have some sort of shakiness, because you're just holding the crosshair placement in certain areas where people are going to peek certain types of angles, and you don't really have to worry about that. But in Overwatch, if you're DPSing or even healing or whatever, you're constantly having to move your mouse because enemies are going up, down, left, right, and very fast. So you're going to get tired fingertipping a whole lot of movement. And it is better with Obsidian Skates or Obsidian Jades, but it's still very tiring to do that on this mouse pad in particular. But if you wanted a slower mouse pad than the Zowie GSR, this is definitely 10 times slower. And I don't think another mouse pad exists that's slower than this one. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe it does exist, but I know a lot of people prefer faster pads, as you can see all over YouTube and just Reddit and Twitter. Like, a lot of people prefer having a mouse pad to where it doesn't, quote unquote, what people say, limit you. That it's all about like you controlling the amount of force and speed that you do on a mouse pad, because this one does restrict you. Obviously, even the Zowie GSR restricts you from moving as fast. It's kind of just like a learning curve when it comes to any mouse pad, even a speed one. If you're on a speed one, it obviously takes less effort to move your mouse and to make micro adjustments. But for some people, they're going to either over aim or have to compensate by like lowering their sensitivity. And then when it comes to like slower mouse pads, you're going to have to get used to like having better crosshair placement depending on the game that you play, or learning how to micro adjust by like, it's probably bad, right? But you have to put more force into having a steady hand to actually put just a little bit, and it's a lot slower. It's like if I'm trying to make micro adjustment, it's definitely a lot slower because of the force that it takes to move on this mouse pad. When it comes to on a like a fast pad, you don't have to put any effort to like make a micro adjustment. You can just probably use one finger and it'll move left and right effortlessly. Yet some people will probably struggle. What I notice when it comes to fast pads is even if it micro adjusting is easy, I tend to like when people are strafing, I can never keep my crosshair on people, no matter the game it is, whether it's Overwatch or Valorant. It's like I'm either going too far left, too far right, and it doesn't matter if I lower my sense or I raise my sense. Like I'm going too far left or too far right, and I can never predict or follow the person that is strafing on a fast pad. And when it comes to a slow pad, it's easier for me to track the person for some reason. I feel like my body reacts faster than my mind when it comes to that. I don't know. It's hard to explain unless you're like in that moment, but I just never did well on faster pads, which is why I've always mained the Zowie GSR. And like I said, I would main this one, but it's just too slow. It's not that I can't aim on it, but since I fingertip, it's just too tiring. Now, I will say this one feels a lot more consistent than the Zowie GSR, and it feels a lot better. Like this is very, very soft and silky. It's kind of like a very plushy velvet type pillow or cover that goes on your pillow. It's like super soft, and it takes a lot of pressure in order for it to sink in. But like when you rest your arm on it, it's just like very soft, and it just feels very comfortable. This is probably the softest mouse pad that I've ever felt, including from the Artisan mouse pads. Like I know the Artisan pads, especially if you get a neck soft, they're very like they sink in, but they all have different types of textures. And I think the softest one would probably be either the Artisan Raiden, I think, or the Zero. But this one is literally the soft. It's like a pillow. I can't explain it. This is just very soft. It's very comfortable, and it's relaxing to just rest your arm on if you know you're an arm aimer. So yeah, I don't know if I can recommend it if you're not a slow pad user. And I don't know, if you want something that's very slow, this is definitely going to be for you. It's bigger than the Zowie GSR. Good luck trying to find one. I have not been able to find one in the past few months because I wanted to get the other color. I didn't want this white one, but at the time when I got this, it was the only one that was in stock, so I ended up getting this one. But I know that they have a gray option, which I feel like would get a lot less dirty faster. Not that this, like, it gets dirty, but like I said, once you clean it, it looks brand new. But still, I'd rather have a different color that's not like whitish looking. So overall, I do enjoy my time with this pad, and I'll use it every now and then. Like, there is no other pad that I would replace it with. But the Zowie GSR, not the Zowie GSR 2, I still haven't tried that one because I'm perfectly fine with the normal Zowie GSR. It's just always been my main mouse pad, and I've never gotten over that pad. I'm just consistent on that pad no matter what game I play, whether it's a tac shooter or just an Overwatch FPS game, right? Fortnite, just any game in general. The Zowie GSR just feels comfortable. I could use any mouse feet and any mouse, and I just play perfectly well without even trying, you know? When it comes to all these other pads, I have to put effort into trying to like relearn or change my sensitivity. Like even this one, I had to change my sensitivity to something higher in order to make up for how slow it is. But like I said, you can't even like I can flick harder and probably break a mouse before it even like, it's like it doesn't even move. Like I'm hitting it so hard that it barely moves, and it has like the jitteriness to it. So it's obviously very sticky and muddy. I don't know if this pad is going to be for most people, because like I said, when I look around, most people hate slow pads. But if you've always wanted something slower than a Zowie GSR, this is probably the best option. Although maybe it'd be a lot slower than what you think, and it might not be something that you will enjoy. But hopefully they either restock them or maybe they're working on something new. I don't really know much about this company. I know these were their first mouse pads. Like they had a whole bunch of lineups like that range from like super fast, medium, and then like a slower version. I know there's a couple of YouTube videos that talk about all of the pads, and I only have this one. So hopefully maybe they're reworking on something, or maybe they're trying to restock them. I don't know. It's been like that for a while where I haven't seen them in stock. So yeah, if you can get your hands on one, if you want something slower than the Zowie GSR, this is definitely it. I would say it's definitely a fun experience. I had it made it seem like I had calm aim, if I can explain that. But if you're someone who's used to like very fast and very speedy pads, you might not enjoy this at all, especially if you don't like the Zowie GSR. And everyone calls that pad a mud pad. And I will say you have not tried a true mud pad and you try this pad, because this is definitely the definition of a mud. It's like quicksand, and you're forcing yourself to move on something that's trying to hold you to not move. So it's very consistent in that, no matter in the direction that you go in. So it takes effort to move this, and that can be very tiresome for some people. Like even for me it was, which is why I don't main it. I think just a little bit slower than the Zowie GSR, but a little bit faster than this. I would like a pad in between this and the Zowie GSR, because I do want something slower than the Zowie, but I want something faster than this. But still, I play very well on the Zowie GSR, so maybe that's just going to be my main pad till the end of time. So anyways, leave your thoughts down below if you've tried this pad, what you think about it. And yeah, anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Be safe.